The day I made deeper. I remember we'd booked a studio in Glenwood, and it was like a little bit of like a dodgy studio. Inside it wasn't so bad, but like on the outside it looked like really scary, and I was like, what? They sat me in the general area, in the general public, not with the other artists.
Wow, okay.
And then they said Holly Rey, and not even the camera could find me. If you watch the Psalmist, the camera goes like this up to the nominees area, then it goes back down, and then it like.
Kong Republic I like. Speaking your truth on the mic. Hit the subscribe and like. Time to
Kongcast.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Kongcast, coming to you right here from Kong Republic Studios. My name is Jans and I am your host, and I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Christian Moodley.
What up, guys?
And then Mr. Nova, as always, behind the camera, making us look pristine and sound good as always. And here at Kong Republic Studios, we are your one-stop shop for all your entertainment needs, ladies and gentlemen. If you're looking to start your own podcast, you can do so right here, just like Kongcast. If you're looking to get a photo shoot, we have a photo shoot section as well. We have a recording studio upstairs as well for all the musicians that are looking to make hits, and more hits. And we have so much more coming your way as well. But in the show today, ladies and gentlemen, we are sitting with one of South Africa's gems. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about a Summer Award-winning artist. We're talking about a multi-platinum selling artist as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one, the only, Miss Holly Rey.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on the show, man.
Thanks. Can I just say how crazy your like radio voice is? Oh. Like you know when you have a conversation with someone and then they step behind the mic like, hello! Like it never ceases to surprise me. It's crazy.
I appreciate that. Well, Holly, we're definitely glad to have you on the show.
Thanks
Normally
for
how we
having
started off is, a couple of icebreakers as well. So yeah, he normally goes first. So.
Okay, cool. Let's break this ice.
Yeah. So you're in a zombie apocalypse, all right? And you're picking three superheroes to be on your team.
Oh my God.
Who would that be?
Who do you pick?
I feel like I need someone who can fly because like zombies can't fly. Right? So you need someone who can like take me away from the zombies. So like a Superman, even like Spider-Man, because
right.
But just someone you can like. So I'm gonna go Superman because he's like super strong.
Yes.
And
You're pretty much sorted out with
yeah.
I feel like Deadpool because he's so funny and he'll make any like really bad situation funny.
100%.
And then I feel like I need a girl on my team. So I'm only speaking like Marvel. Wonder Woman.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a badass chick. Yeah.
100%.
So Wonder Woman. So Superman. Who else did I say?
Deadpool.
And Wonder Woman.
And Holly Rey.
And of course,
definitely surviving that zombie apocalypse, right? Well, of all the instruments, because we know you play quite a few, right? So you play guitar. I know you did marimba as well.
Yeah.
So of all the instruments you know how to play, which one is your favorite?
I think the guitar, because I can just take it everywhere I go.
Oh, yeah?
And it's like so easy to just like whip out, when you're hanging with your friends and stuff.
Right.
Whereas like a marimba is a nightmare to travel with.
Right.
Drums, nightmare. So yeah, guitar because of like it's portable and everyone loves the guitar.
Yes.
You bring it out and you can play jams and it's always a vibe.
Sheesh, okay. That's difficult though. That's a difficult instrument, I would think.
Guitar?
Yeah, to learn.
Nah.
No?
Yeah.
Nah. I mean, I've been playing it since I was 9. So if
Maybe
a
that's why it's
9-year-old can
easy
learn,
now.
anyone can learn,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, I try to play guitar. It's really hard. I mean, like I tried to play a euphonium as well. I just couldn't get it. And then I moved into drums.
Yeah.
Okay,
That was a lot simpler, I felt.
Yeah, I actually studied music on the drums. So that was the instrument. Because I loved the guitar and it was like my passion instrument. And piano, I just felt was a little bit like boring. Like everyone was doing piano in school.
Right.
So I was like, nah, I'm gonna learn the drums. And I did like music, studied music on the drums up to like grade 3, like a grade 3 music, not
Right.
grade 3 age. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
no, cool. But yeah, let's get into it, okay? Well, you know, you started playing music at 9 years old, right? And we know you started your professional career at 13 years old.
Yeah.
13 years old, your professional career starts in it. It's amazing that you started at such a young age,
Yeah.
you know? So, I mean, if you started professionally at 13, when did you actually realize, hey, you know what, I want to do this music thing? Because I'm sure it must have been before 13.
Yeah, so I mean, I've always been musical. Like since I was a kid, I'd always been creative. If you speak to my grand, she'll tell you I was always making a noise on something. You know, I was always
Right.
banging on the kitchen counter or banging the pots or trying to like make a beat, like always.
Yes.
I'd always like make concerts in the house for my family, and I'd make them pay to buy tickets to watch me perform other people's songs. And yeah, I'd even sell them the snacks that they'd already paid for. So I'd go and take stuff out the house, out the grocery cupboard that they'd already bought, and then resell it to them.
Ah, jeez.
So that they could watch my concert with snacks. But I think, yeah, so I was always musical, but I never really knew that like music was like a career. It was just like a passion for me. My uncle played a lot of guitar. He plays like multiple instruments.
Yes.
And I spent a lot of time with him when I was a kid. And so yeah, I loved music always, was always singing, dancing, like performing. And then when I started learning the guitar, I started like writing my own music and my ideas, and they were like silly little songs. I mean, they were about like a 10-year-old kid's experience of the world, really
Right.
weird kind
Right.
of stuff. But
So you
they
writing
were
at 10. You were writing at 10. Oh
yeah,
my word.
but really like weird
Music.
Nothing like
I
like
battles right now.
yeah, boy didn't speak to me today, like weird. But it was really like my form of like expression, like how I got my feelings out there. And then, so I kept writing, and then one of my mom's friends was like, I have a friend who has a studio. Why don't you go just like record them for fun, and they have that experience. And I went and recorded them. They sound terrible. I found them like a few months ago. And I was like, what was this? How did people let me do this? And like think that this was okay?
Right.
And then when I was, about 13, I started playing at little like festivals and also just for expression, and it was really fun for me.
Yes.
And then there was a guy from Sony ATV who had just happened to be at one of the shows. And I think it was like on a Saturday, and then on the Monday they offered me my first deal.
That's amazing.
And I mean, originally I was signed on as a songwriter, not as like an artist or anything, because they by 13 it wasn't boy didn't speak to me today. It was more, grown stuff, a really different perspective on the world, and they wanted me to write songs for other people. And I did, write a few, but then as my mum said to me, I'll support this completely. I mean, she's my momager today, and has been like from the beginning.
Yes.
And she said, I'll support this journey completely. This is what you're passionate about, but I want you to learn about the business behind it. So when I signed that first deal, she made me read books, blogs, everything, understanding where my royalties are, what royalties are, where they come from, how they work. So that by the time I was ready to really step into the industry, I wasn't going to be easily exploited.
Right.
So I think in that moment when I got offered the deal, it was like, oh, okay, this is a business, and this is like a real thing, and not just like Hannah Montana and like Americans get like, deals and all of that. So from about 13, I knew that that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life.
That's amazing.
I was even like saying to someone the other day, like, I don't even know what it's like to earn a salary, like to earn a paycheck
100%.
at the end of the month, and like, you get your insurance and I don't even know how that works. Because from 13, I've just been working as like an entrepreneur, basically.
So, I mean, you don't get that every 30 days payment. You have to do the work and then get paid.
Exactly,
So you've been on that business hustle from 13, eh?
For sure. My mom is such a hustler.
Right.
Like she is, because my mom was a single mom. She worked so hard to like give me everything I had. So I think I definitely got that like spirit from her, that like hustle, get things done kind of energy.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, I think you definitely answered my next question. 'Cause I was gonna ask you, how soon after you started your musical journey did you sign your first publishing deal? I'm now gonna change it to, are you happy you signed it at that early age?
Yeah, I mean, I don't believe in like looking back and regret and whatever. And I think if I hadn't, I would have had a very different childhood.
Right.
I spent most of my childhood and my teen years in the studio or at shows or at practicing with a band. And a lot of people, when I tell them that, they're like, oh, that's so sad. And I'm like, not really. Like, I loved it.
Yes.
I got to wake up and just do what I loved all the time. And I'm a type 1 diabetic.
Oh,
so I was diagnosed when I was like about 12. So music was a thing that like kept me going. I couldn't play sport. I couldn't do a lot of stuff that the other kids were doing. So to be able to throw myself into music was amazing for me, and to be able to have a form of expression was incredible.
Sheesh.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
That's so dope. But,
Found an outlet.
but Holly, you're from the same town I am. I mean, you're from Durban.
Dubane.
Yeah, so like, Durban is it's a small world in its own place, right?
is, yeah.
And I know you're in the Westville area, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, no, cool. I was in Tonga, Belito, just in the outskirts of Belito.
Nice. It's beautiful
No,
there.
Tonga. I never said Belito.
okay. But even Tonga's nice. It's like nice beaches. Oh.
They didn't have water for 1 year.
What?
They didn't have water for 1 year.
Like, that is insane.
That is completely insane. And like, I mean, it's just a place, they're not taking care of the place, When I say they, I'm talking about the municipality,
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
But anyway, that's a whole different podcast, But Durban it's a very unique place in its own, its own right. And how did the local music there kind of influence, you growing up?
Yeah, I mean, Durban, especially when I was coming up, was like the capital of dance music. It was where all the house music was coming from. I mean, now we're in an era where all the dance music's coming from sort of Gauteng. It's the sort of Amapiano era. But when I was coming up, it was the Professors and even DJ Tira and the whole Afrotainment movement. So it was very much the hub of music and music making. And I started going to, when I first started making music, it was very like pop-based music, because that's kind of what people expected of me. This little blonde girl must make pop music. But I started going to like, especially like Max's and Umlazi. If you've ever been to Durban, you have to go to Max's. And listening to like the dance music and, the sort of like South Africanness of that. And I just fell in love with it. I mean, I went to my first Sanyama when I was about 14.
Amazing.
Yeah, my band took me after a rehearsal. It was to this day, one of the best nights of my life. I remember that night. We danced, it was the middle of December. It was so hot. We were all dancing, sweating. It was just the best night, And from there, I think I fell in love with South African house music, and it was definitely influenced by that Durban sound. And even to this day, I mean, even though I'm not living in Durban anymore, I'm a little bit more disconnected from that industry. I think those sounds and those vibes will always be a part of who I am.
Durban, like you say, with Tira and all these guys, it was the hub initially. Now you say that, and there was a lot of house stuff happening, and it was very interesting. I mean, just basically with what's kind of happening there back then now. But
music is proper, man.
Even now, if you go to KZN, it's still rocking. The clubs are still the vibe, you know. There's not a lot of. I mean, if you go to the big festivals and parties, of course they're playing Amapiano because they're also bringing in all the Joburg talent.
Right.
But if you go to the little Shisanyamas in areas around Durban, it's still going one way.
One way.
Yeah, one way.
Well, I mean, in the musical industry in general, I would think that, just integrating different sounds into your music and stuff. What I wanted to ask is, throughout your childhood, right, your family is very integrated into your career, I would say. Was that always a plan? Did you always want that to be the option? I
don't know. So my mom, when she was kind of in varsity, her best friend was in a band. She's actually my aunt now. She married my mom's brother.
Right.
Was in a band called the Famous Curtain Trick. And they like toured with like Bryan Adams when he came to South Africa. Yeah. So my mom was like around all of that. She like went on tour with them.
I see.
So she had a lot of knowledge about the music industry. So when I said I was interested in it, she already had a bit of like background and insight into how, even though it was like a completely different genre in a different era, about how things work. Because royalties and all of that are still the same,
Right.
and, you know. So I definitely knew my mom would always be a part of my career. She's such a we're very close, and she's a big part of like my life as a whole.
Yeah.
And there's no one I trust more with like my money and my business
100%.
than my mom. You know, she's never
100%.
gonna like steal from me or you know, exploit me in any way.
You know, Holly, you've been doing this for a very long time now. You know, you started like as young as 9, just dabbling with music and playing everywhere. And then, I mean, like you've been doing this for many years, all right? You definitely got the T-shirt, you know? You know, what I want to ask you, you know, being such, well, so informative, like you know so much of the business at the moment. I mean, we were talking outside this podcast, and you're doing so many stuff, so much other stuff from a production point of view and shows point of view. I mean, you just know from a business point of view what's kind of going on. So I want to ask you, from a musical point of view, internationally, who do you admire, like from a business point of view, that manages and does things, and who do you look at for inspiration and stuff like that?
I mean, I think anyone from a music business point of view, especially in the modern area, would look at like someone like Scooter Braun. He's incredible. I mean, he's built some of the biggest artists in the world. He's an incredible manager. Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, like the list just goes on and on and on. And I think that, he's incredible in his brand building and the way that he does that. In terms of artists, and this is going to be a bit controversial when I say it, but hear me out, is Taylor Swift.
Okay.
And the reason I say this is not because I relate necessarily with her music, but her journey. So she went from like this full country, you know, artist and transformed herself into like a pop icon.
100%.
And I think what I admire about that is her ability to transition between genres and grow as an artist. A lot of like young artists crash and burn because they get stuck in the starting point of their career. She's really managed to evolve and constantly be evolving. And kind of changing the dynamic, and also from a business sense. I mean, Taylor Swift is the one who challenged Apple on the you know, free subscriptions and the payment of artists, and I definitely want to be an artist who challenges that, not for myself, but for the industry and people to come. Like my biggest motto in life is to leave the doors open behind you as you go through. And if I can be the kind of artist like her who changes the industry for the artists to come, then I would be a happy person.
Wow, that's such a good answer.
Yeah, very good answer.
It's like,
I wonder why you would think it would be controversial.
She has a lot of controversy at the moment around that whole like show and the booking stuff.
Yes.
There is drama around Taylor Swift at the moment. But, and I'm not like her biggest fan, like of her music. I'm not her biggest fan.
Just the way she moves.
Yeah, I'm not a
100%.
Swiftie or anything. It's just like her like her business and
how she keeps it running.
That I think is cool.
I got you. Okay, well, we know you studied media studies, right?
I did.
At the UKZN?
Yes,
right?
I did my undergrad at Varsity College, and then I did my honors at UKZN.
So awesome.
You know, we know it involves advertising, journalism, online publishing, like, you know, marketing, a whole array of things that's like almost like ammunition for you, you know, kind of thing.
It is, but actually what's so funny is when I chose to do my specialization, I didn't do it in the media. I did it in communications. And I did it in health communication.
Yes.
Okay.
So I did all the, you know, the groundwork for that, but my specialization is in health-based communication.
Okay, cool.
And the year I released Deeper was the year I did my honors. And I was tired tired of the industry. I'd been in it for a long time.
Right.
And I was also really passionate about other things. And I was like, maybe it's time for me to like explore my other passions. And I wanted to go work for an NGO in Kenya that works with like HIV and communication about that. So basically designing health strategies to communicate to people like in the best way and in an intercultural like context.
Right.
So how do different cultures communicate about different health issues, and how's the best way to teach people within their cultural context. I'm digressing, but so I was really passionate about that. Also being diabetic, I wanted to be able to help more diabetics because so many people are dying from diabetes in South Africa. So yeah, I kind of signed up to go volunteer for this NGO in Kenya, and I was like, okay, we're going to release Deeper, but I'm like not sure about it, you know.
I'm sure about that.
Because it was at the peak of Kom.
Yes.
So, and Deeper's is super mellow in comparison.
To Kom,
So I was
100%.
like, I'm not sure about this, but okay, cool. If this doesn't take off, I'm off to Kenya, guys. Peace, you know? And then like halfway through the year, I couldn't even keep up with myself. You know? I just like blew up like overnight, and I was doing my thesis like on airplanes, and it was like insane.
That is so insane.
It was crazy.
So
And like
insane.
the back of my bus, I actually don't even know how I did it. I was like, I don't even know if I'm gonna pass. And then I graduated cum laude.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I don't know how this happened. Either like my lecturers really like me, or I'm the best you have ever met in your life. Because when I was writing my thesis, I was like, I don't know if I'm making sense, but here we go. Like, it was crazy.
Maybe they were listening to Deeper when they were
Maybe.
They're like,
this is it.
But I have always been like an academic. I'm really passionate about academics.
Okay.
Really?
All
I want
right.
to do my master's and my PhD.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
No, you sound like my mom.
Hopefully younger.
No, it's just that she got a doctorate, and she's bummed out that she got it in two different things, you know, psychology and mathematics. So
wow,
I know.
okay.
So it's
intense.
Those are like completely different things.
Yeah, I know. Eh?
Like maths is so like scientific and like, and then psychology is so like, that's crazy.
I know.
Actually.
She always tried with me, you know.
I studied like
fields.
child psychology for a year.
Yeah.
And I found it traumatizing, like actually. So now like I'm always giving people advice about their children and like with psychological facts, you know.
Right.
But actually psychology it's not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah, I know. It's a hectic thing.
Yeah.
But you know, let's move on. So on the 9th of November, 2022, this year, you tweeted you haven't been this happy in a very long time.
Oh wow.
All right. So
looking through my tweets.
we're one of your followers.
Do the things,
I'm sure you don't see us amongst your thousands, but like, you know.
But we're there.
Yeah, we're there. But like, you know, the thing is, you know, you attain such success from a young age. You know, what's a key of having happiness, you know, later down as a musician? What does it, you know?
What do you think is the secret?
Yeah, what's the secret?
Yeah.
I think balance. And I think that's something I've had to learn and something I've only found this year. A lot of artists don't have true balance in their life. And it's so important to like, you know, always be working on your craft and always be, you know, bettering yourself. But we often forget that like bettering ourselves is also about like spending time with ourselves, spending time with our families, you know, spending time investing in our own well-being and loving ourselves. And I know it sounds a little bit like gumba, but I spent like 3 years literally just on the road, traveling, everyone wanting something, everyone like always just being Holly Rey and never taking time to just be Holly. And then COVID hit and it was so depressing to be like at home. And so I went back to Durban because I didn't want to be stuck in my flat by myself. I didn't know how long it was going to happen. And that family time was really good, but I wasn't in the world and I wasn't able to do the things that fulfilled my soul. And I've got to a place this year where I've got both. I've got the family time and I'm working on the music, and it's kind of like the perfect mix of everything. I have the most incredible people in my life who are just, you know, making me happy every day. And I feel like I finally found that balance.
Hence the tweet.
Yeah.
Sheesh,
Being
and
able
that's
to make music but still prioritize yourself.
Right.
And I think that's important what you're saying because, mental health is such an issue these days, with everyone. And I'm not just talking about art, I'm talking about everyone.
Everyone, yeah.
And, it's good to know someone who's actually like kind of doing it correctly. What's the right way of doing it? Because we don't know these things,
Also, it's different for everyone. It's the kind of thing you just like figure out as you go. I mean, you can get help and, speak to people, and that's part of that process. But it'll never be a copy and paste thing. What I do to preserve my mental health and make me feel good will not be the same for you. And then for you, it's just like, it doesn't work like that.
What I took from that is balance,
balance
a balance of everything, I think too much of one thing is never too good though.
Exactly.
Even exercise, too much exercise is bad.
Exactly.
I'm not a fat guy.
Pass out. Pass out from it, definitely, man. Well, guys, I mean, it is definitely greatness having Holly Rey in the studio.
So great, you're stammering.
Hey, man, so great, I'm stammering, right? We're moving on to our ad break, and we'll be back with Holly Rey straight after this.
Now, for a limited time, get your exclusive photo shoot for only 2,450 Rand and get a free A1 canvas print. This special includes 20 high-resolution images, 3 hours of editing and retouching, 2 background options of your choice, includes photographer, gear hire, assistant, and refreshments. Get your exclusive photo shoot done at Kong Republic Studios based here in Kyalami, Midrand.
Hey, welcome back, Conquerors, to another great episode of Kongcast. And today, we are with the one, the only, Miss Holly Rey is in the building! Hey! And we're having a good time thus far, just another segment of our interview. Holly, I wanted to ask you, radio stations love playing your music. That's one thing I know is that, I always hear a Holly Rey, track that's happening somewhere, somehow, right? So I wanted to ask, in terms of radio and just music in general, because I would say deeper is timeless, right? So what do you think is the key to creating timeless and just masterful music, creating fresh music too?
I think for me, what the key has been is merging genres. So I'm a crossover artist, so I don't just appeal to one sort of cultural group, age group, like any of that. And that's been my biggest sort of key to success. And it has been, I always say my genre is changing now. The music I'm making now is very different to what I've been making before.
Right.
But up to this point, it's been this mix of pop and house music. And I do take a lot of influence, not necessarily that you can hear in the music, from older songs. And I think that it can be quite important because we all love to have that feeling when you listen to a song I've heard this before, but you actually haven't,
Yes.
And I think for me the biggest thing is the catchy hooks. That's what I do. Is I really sing along, not too wordy kind of hooks that people can enjoy.
Grasp and enjoy.
If the kids are singing it, you sold.
Yeah.
You've got it done.
Definitely.
That's my thing. I was always tested on kids first.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so clever.
That's unique, yeah.
That's very
The
clever.
kids are singing it, you sold.
You sold.
Yeah.
That's so clever. Yeah, but that's right. Because if a kid is singing it, then everyone.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, very cool, man. But let's go back to let's bring it a little bit back, all right? So your summer award winner.
Yes.
All right. So that's very cool. But let's go really specific here. Record of the Year is such a prestige award, right? It's a massive thing. The reason I say that, before you won it, there was only one other female artist that won it, and that was 20 years prior to you winning it.
Yes.
That was Brenda Fassie.
Yeah.
And 20 years ago when she won it to now when you win it is times change, things is different. But that's a massive achievement.
Yeah.
And being in South Africa where, for example, there's not a lot of white folk in this year. I mean, that's such a huge deal, man.
Yeah.
Amazing. What was that feeling when they called your name out for this year?
I mean, in the moment, it's so exciting. I didn't even believe it. I actually I didn't enjoy the summers at all. I hated the entire experience. Hated it. Because and they're probably never going to invite me back again
No,
after I
no,
say
no.
this.
highly doubt that.
But,
We'll cut it out. We'll cut this out.
No, it's fine. I don't mind talking about it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the summers have come more about like influencers and like the people attending than actually celebrating music. And my whole career, since I was a kid, all I wanted to do was go to the summers, whether I was nominated or not. Like, I just wanted to go to the summers and feel that energy of just celebrating music and celebrating artists. And that was like lacking for me when I went. I was also very much like, I wasn't a well-known artist. People didn't know who I was. I didn't really have friends in the industry yet. I was very isolated at the summers. And they sat me in the general area, in the general public, not with the other artists.
Yeah,
Wow, okay.
So from the moment I sat down, I was like, sharp, I'm not winning. Do you know what I mean? The fact that they sat me down
100%.
means that nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, it's fine, I'll just enjoy the show, sharp. I'm excited to be nominated. And then they said, Holly Rey. And not even the camera could find me. If you watch the summers, the camera goes like this up to the nominees area, then it goes back down, and then it like, cause I was like had to walk what felt like 1,000 miles
No way.
to get to the stage.
Yeah.
But after winning it, obviously I felt incredible in the moment because I was really proud of myself. I was proud of my team who'd worked so hard. I knew that it was also my fans who did it. It's the only sort of fan voted award, or was at the time.
Yes.
It's kind of the only award that you like, not that people buy awards, but it's the only award that is like 100% like legit, like
By the public,
it's
yeah.
it's audited, it's, you know.
Right.
And I was just really grateful to my fans for giving that to me because it was
100%.
hard work, but they chose to spend their airtime and their time voting for me. And then, you know, walked off stage, and it was only like a week later that I found out I was the first woman in 20 years. And that for me was the saddest part of the experience.
Right.
Really?
Yeah, because it's not that we haven't had incredible female artists with incredible
you're right,
songs
you're
in
right,
20
yeah.
years, you know. It's just that they're not given the same support structure, the same support as their male counterparts. And all the songs that have won, they've been songs that feature female vocalists that have won, but those vocalists never own the masters to those songs. They're never celebrated for those songs, you know?
Yes.
So it was very, very bittersweet for
So
me.
there's no female that was featured that owned the masters to any of their songs for record of the year.
No. I mean,
Unbelievable.
even I think Brenda was signed to a label, so I don't think she even owned, she didn't own the masters, So it was an indication of the state that the industry is still in, but also hopefully an indication that we are moving towards a change
100%.
and supporting. And I think that we are seeing it now. We're seeing the rise of the female artist and not the female vocalist, because there's a big difference. And it's something I've had a huge issue with in especially the house industry, is that we refer to female artists in the dance scene as vocalists, whereas we refer to their male counterparts as artists.
yeah.
And I get very upset when someone calls me a vocalist because I play multiple instruments.
Yeah, you're a
I'm
full-on
a
artist, yeah.
businesswoman. The insinuation of like a vocalist is someone who comes and sings and goes,
Leaves,
you
yeah,
know? So I think that dynamic's changing. We're seeing like the rise of like Kamo and Pela, like all these incredible females who are changing that dynamic, you know, Nadia Nakai, and who are really creating the image of artists and female superstars in South Africa. And I do think the industry is moving towards where it should be, but it's not moving fast enough.
I see.
Yeah.
But, you know, nonetheless, ma'am, I mean, as much as you say it was sad experience, well, it is that they put you back. You know, I would turn it around and look at the glass half full. It was a longer walk.
I was very, you know what I mean? They all had to watch me walk to that stage.
I'm gonna take my time.
And let me be honest, it was actually more fulfilling for me because I felt
100%.
like, I showed all of you.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
You know, watch me walk.
Yeah.
And then even like, you know, the whole thing about winning, like I'm obviously excited. It feels good to be the first woman in 20 years because it feels good to break.
For sure.
But you're
You sort of
breaking
the glass-
stereotypes as well, man.
Exactly.
You're not just breaking,
Yeah.
you're breaking stereotypes, which is beautiful because we live in a new South Africa now, you know?
We do.
And like people just need to move on with the you know,
Yeah.
like really, I love the fact that you won it and you as much as it was a sad experience for you, but
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I feel like I've made it sound like it was super negative, and I mean, it wasn't. Like, I did enjoy the experience, and you know, but I think that things on like the thing that I took out of it is that we often create these sort of like pictures of what it is to be at the top and what it is to be an artist and all this stuff. And when you get there, you realize that it's all clout. It's just a cloud of clout, and it's not real. You know, like
I loved it.
like everything is just hyped up. And I think that's the one thing, like whenever I speak to like up and coming artists, it's the saddest thing about being an up and coming artist. And it's something, you know, I bought into, is that we think once we've made it and everything changes. It's not the case. You like every day is still a hustle.
Still a grind,
You're still facing challenges. It's not pretty and perfect and pop bottles and Balenciaga all at the top. You know, it's not.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest lesson I learned through that experience as well. Yeah.
Well, you definitely won it for writing your own music, right?
I did.
And we know that you definitely write all your songs,
Yes.
right? So I wanted to ask, because life experiences definitely affect your songwriting, I would assume, right? So there's happy moments, sad moments, you know, proud moments like the summers or whatnot. So where do you draw the most inspiration from? Which kind of moments would you say? Everything, or do you have some in particular?
Hard. I write a lot of love songs, so definitely like love life. But I also don't, not everything is about me and my personal experience. You know, sometimes someone tells me a story and I relate to it in some way and I expand on their story. It's not my own story, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So everything around me inspires me. The last project I did, the Unconditional project, was very much about my own experiences and dealing with love and heartbreak and recovering from that. This new project that I'm working on now is a mix of everything. Some of my own experiences, some from stories people have told me. Sometimes I just see a tweet and I'm like, and I'll expand on that and write a song on that. So I don't know if there's one place I draw all my inspiration from. It does, for me, I think it is just everything around me. Yeah.
Oh, that's very interesting, eh? But Holly, I must ask you. I'm going to bring it back to Durban, right? So, you say commercial, you throw the words commercial very loosely. When people say commercial, you got to be this big tough guy that goes in. But you went into commercial, and it's a big thing because this is a white chick going into commercial, going into studios. You are breaking stereotypes here. How was that experience?
For me, like, I don't think I'm breaking. Like in that moment, I'm just like, shut. That's where the studio is. Let's rock.
Let's do it.
Like. I don't think the township or commercial or Mlazi or any of those places are unsafe. Town is a lot more unsafe. I like myself every time I have to walk through any CBD in any town. So I mean, for me, like, it was never like a thing. That's where the producer I wanted to work with were.
Okay.
So that's where I was going. And I was never like scared or I don't know. And I think.
How was that experience though?
It was amazing. Like, I love it. Even now, I'll still go. One of my favorite producers is in Fulweni. I'll still go there and like sit with him and, work a bit with him. But I think you just go where music takes you and where it feels right. And I even think the idea that like someone needs to break the stereotype is so sad. It does need to be broken, for sure. But like, it shouldn't need to be.
Not in this new South Africa. Definitely,
And, I always have this conversation with people, and I'm probably going to digress a little bit now. The whole like conversation around like cultural appropriation and cultural assimilation and all of that. And the thing is, like, when we're evolving into a country where we're becoming intercultural. So, you're having kids, white kids who are growing up in Soweto now, and kids from Soweto are now growing up in like Bryanston, and that's how it should be. So we're developing this culture that's becoming so much more crossover and integrated, and culturally assimilated.
Right.
You know, people are assimilating into what should be a truly South African culture and context. I think that obviously cultural appropriation is an issue, and cultural appropriation is the exploitation of a culture. And I don't think I do that in any way. I grew up going to KwaZulu, going to Mlazi, so it's a part of who I am. I grew up in a truly like mixed racial, mixed cultural environment. And by trying to be like more white, I would feel like I'd be culturally appropriating, because that's not who I am. I'm just true to who I am, and maybe that's why I've never had a problem with going to
it's definitely taught.
a township. Like
it's definitely
it's just
taught.
how I grew up. Like everything's chilled. My gran, even like sometimes if I perform in Shisanyamas in the township, I take my gran with.
Right.
You know, like it's not like, for me and my family, it's not like a thing, you know? Yeah.
Sheesh. Okay, well, growing up in Durban, you know, you definitely said the local sound influenced your style of music, you know, and Durban Gqom is definitely one of those, right?
Yeah, and
So-
Durban House as well.
Durban House as well?
Like your professors and you
Yeah.
remember like that era of house? That was like the golden age
That
of
was the
house
golden
music.
age straight.
Yeah.
Okay, well, with that, right, with Durban music, you know, just the local sound and everything, which one were you drawn to most that you remember? Like
House.
the first, House the whole way?
House the whole way.
The whole way?
House music, for sure.
Is Professor one of your favorites?
One of my favorites, and he's actually one of my good friends.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, so we became like very good friends when I was younger, and he was very supportive of my career. Even to this day, he's one of the nicest OGs. You know, like just like always encouraging artists, and definitely one of my favorites. I'm trying to think who else. Sort of like Kulo the song.
Okay.
I was listening to the song that he did with Thandiswa Mazwai.
Okay.
I don't know, Nguwe.
Nguwe.
Yeah. The other day, and I was like, this was a golden age. Like this song was I used to love dancing to that song and listening to it, and so anything from that, like I said, that like kind of golden age of house, I'm into. Yeah.
Sure.
I'll still
Where do you think
listen.
house is now compared to piano?
I think that house is a genre that always like it goes like this, you know, and I think that it's piano's time right now, and that's fine.
Definitely.
I think that it's important for other genres to rise and challenge the dynamics of one another and all of that. That's why I think a lot of house cats are critical of piano and all of that. I think it's important. I think that you need other genres to challenge and improve your genre.
Yes.
House music will always be a big deal in South Africa. We're the capital of house music in the world, even to this day. So I think it'll always be big, whether it's underground, but it's also always evolving. You know, Afro tech is taking off now, and that's kind of a derivative of house and dance music.
100%.
So yeah, I just think we're evolving as a genre. And I think it's really cool.
But I mean, like, you know, talking about the Yanos, I mean, you did a song with one of our good friends, T-Man.
Yes.
Take Me Back.
Yes, yeah.
So, I mean, how was that experience with you working on Amapiano? Did you enjoy the experience?
I've done a few like Amapiano collaborations, and I quite like it. You know, I've done T-Man, Major League, somebody. So it's always cool to step out of your genre and challenge yourself a little bit. So I love working outside my genre, and Amapiano is so cool. I listen to a lot of Amapiano.
Right.
I just don't make it because, like, for myself, because it's not, I think it would be inauthentic for me to just like start making piano music.
Right.
But I don't mind featuring on it, and I love vibing out to it. So it was lots of fun.
Oh, no, cool.
Sheesh. Well, I mean, you mentioned your EP.
Yes.
Unconditional,
Yes.
right? Has a lot of soulful melodies, you know.
It does.
It's
Very beautiful.
very symphony,
Very
it's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted you to actually talk about the making of Unconditional, the entire process. Like, talk us through the making of
Seems
it.
like there was a lot of love for it.
Like the first, so there's two versions of Unconditional. There's the house dance version, and then there's the stripped EP.
Yes.
So the first one I made during lockdown, Murphy, the producer I was working with at the time, he's from Zim, and he kind of got stuck here. And he was staying with me at my house in Durban. And, you know, every day we just wake up and like make music. So I got to spend a lot of time writing that project. And it was very personal. I'd been through quite a bad like breakup during the end of 2020. Yeah. I got dumped on my birthday.
Oh, sorry.
I'm so sorry.
When I had COVID. I was in self-isolation. Yeah. It was hell.
Jeez.
But I got so much out of it. Like I learned so much about myself and I channeled all of that into my music.
Right.
And that was, it was one of the best. It was like my therapy making that project.
Right.
And then we obviously decided to do an acoustic version, and that was just like another form of therapy. Because when you strip a song down, it takes on a whole new meaning. And especially with dance music, I think that deeper meanings often get lost in this idea of it being done.
Yes.
So being able to strip down those songs and just make them really raw and just about the vocals and the meaning of the song was so important for me as an artist. And it's actually changed the way I write even dance music now moving forward. Because it's made me appreciate what I'm writing even more.
Yeah, but you can hear it. I mean, like I really like the unstripped the stripped version because I heard Bob and like it was even my wife agreed, and she's a massive fan of you, but like. It's unbelievable that you can sound like that.
Yeah.
You know,
for me, the stripped one's also my favorite.
Yeah. It was like the Titanic, but in a nice way. You know, like
no one died. No one died.
It's so meaningful.
Yeah.
You know, sorry, I reference that because it's like, you know, like I'm not a very emotional person, but that movie really, I cry every time I watch it.
Titanic's your soft spot,
It's
bro.
my soft spot. Yeah. Luckily, it's 3 hours before I get to
Yeah.
But anyway, my bad. Okay, let's move on.
So funny.
But Holly, let's go back to like social media, madam. So like you got 20,000 followers on Twitter, 22,000 followers on YouTube with 8.5 million views and 161,000 followers on Facebook. You have a massive following, and you know you kind of omni-channel. You diversifying your following on like so many different platforms. Which platform has been the most beneficial to you from a business point of view?
That's so hard. Definitely Facebook and Instagram, I think. I'm not a big social media person. Like I don't enjoy social media. So like if I wasn't who I am, I don't think I'd even have social media. So I mean my following would probably be a lot bigger than it is, but I don't pour all my energy into it like a lot of other artists. I pour all my energy into my music, you know? So yeah, I think definitely Facebook and Instagram, because they've served different purposes. I have different sort of followers on those platforms. So yeah, but Facebook for me is like where I get to really connect with my fans on like the ground, because it doesn't really have all that like superficial stuff that Instagram sometimes has.
Yes.
It's a lot more real, and I think that so probably actually Facebook then. Even you know when I first was in the industry, there was no Instagram. It was just Facebook, and that's how I connected with everyone. That's how I promoted my shows. That's how I got to the world, was through Facebook.
And I know when you do your promotions, do you use all platforms?
Yes,
when you do it,
yeah, everything. TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just to remind myself what they all are.
And there's this new thing that's taking off. It's called Be Real.
Love Be Real.
Oh, you got it.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
I'm out of the loop. I don't know. Be real.
I
someone
love Be Real.
me too,
And I only had like my friends on it, so I get to be like super raw and like.
It's dope, man.
Oh, love
It's
it. Do you know what it is?
No, I have no clue.
Okay, let me just educate you.
Sure.
Okay. So Be Real is this app where you literally like have to be real. So what happens is every day they send out like a notification, and everyone gets the notification at the same time, like all over the world.
Okay.
And it's like you have 2 minutes to post, and you have to literally take a picture it takes a picture of you and whatever your camera's seeing in that moment.
Yeah. Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. But if you post like late, it'll say posted an hour late or whatever, so people know you didn't post in the moment. Yeah. But then also you have to post in order to see other people's posts. So you can't be like a shady lurker.
Well, what, do you follow each other, like same places?
Yeah, it's the same principle. It's just that now, Instagram is all about like showcasing the best life.
Yes.
And this one will definitely catch you in the wrong moment.
This is like, it's what's really kind of happening,
Like I'm cooking dinner. I'm on the couch. Watching a series, or it's like very real.
Oh, okay.
And you can't get a perfect picture, because if you get one perfect picture, you'll be like,
I love it. I always do the selfie. I'm like, I don't care what all of you look like. The selfie is what matters.
Smart girl.
Wow. Okay. I had no idea about.
Being a photographer, I always look at the subject matter.
Oh no, not me. I cannot be.
No, and then you get an already ugly person looking more ugly. But I love it because it's so authentic and raw. And the cool thing is that like you don't get set notifications at random times and it posts random. It's fantastic. This is in the top 10 download apps currently on Android.
Oh wow!
And it's just fun. It's just it feels like, do you remember when Snapchat first came out?
Yes.
And Snapchat was just like fun.
Yes.
It feels like that for me. Because I feel like all the other social media platforms for me are all work and I have to maintain my image and whatever. On Be Real, like I can post in my pajamas, my hair's a mess, I just woke up. It doesn't matter.
But that's
like
the point,
it's so fun.
Wow, guys.
You must download it.
I must get it.
So much fun.
Oh, that is dope, guys. Well, we're definitely gonna be real to our audience members and go off onto an ad break, but we're gonna be back with Holly Rey just
Now,
after
for a
this.
limited time, get your exclusive photo shoot for only 2,450 Rand and get a free A1 canvas print. This special includes 20 high-resolution images, 3 hours of editing and retouching, 2 background options of your choice, includes photographer, gear hire, assistant, and refreshments. Get your exclusive photo shoot done at Kong Republic Studios based here in Kyalami, Midrand.
Hey, welcome back, Conquerors, to another episode of Kongcast, and today we're with the one, the only Miss Holly Rey. Hey! Yeah, it's been a great interview thus far, guys. Getting to know you just a little bit better. But we definitely need to know a lot more, right? So one thing I want to ask is, you have another single. It's called You.
Yes.
Right? It has surpassed 3.5 million views on YouTube. Right?
It has?
Yeah. And it's streams. So
Oh,
3.5 million streams.
I don't even know that.
Yes. It's certified 3 times platinum, right?
It's actually certified 3 times multi-platinum.
Multi-platinum. Ooh, flex.
Yeah.
Flex. Oh, yeah.
So
okay.
multi-platinum is 3.
Yes.
And then times that by 3. So yeah, it's 3
Jeez,
times multi-platinum.
Yeah. Wow. No, I mean, I got these units off of research that I did on you, right? I know that you sold 293,055 copies of this song.
33.5 million streams.
Oh my Lord.
Amazing.
Yeah, right. So I wanted to ask, when it comes to that music and just the stats, that come with the single, 3.5 million streams and the copies you sold, what do you think is the key to moving like units like that in this modern day of music?
I just think good music. Well, I'm different. Like there's a lot of artists who believe in like gimmicks and like hype and like fighting with each other on Twitter or whatever. I don't believe in that. I just believe in good music. I think like good music always speaks for itself at the end of the day.
Yes.
Like, and there's no like secret to it. There's no like, for me, if you make
no
good
formula.
music, like that people will enjoy and also, I think for me, like I said this earlier, my key to success is that I appeal to so many different people from so many different markets.
Right.
Because unfortunately in South Africa, a lot of our consumer markets are still quite segregated. So, like we have a whole Afrikaans industry that none of us know about.
Yes.
But they're like producing millions a year.
Yeah, they're killing.
Then there's the whole like Maskandi industry that also produces so much, but a lot of us don't even know those artists. So, whereas I'm the kind of artist who appeals to all of that, like across the board.
Right.
So I think that is the key to my success in that sense,
Just being multi-diverse, I guess.
Yes, because
because
it's more people buying your music at the end of the day.
Okay.
But talking about more people into your music, we have to talk about Deeper, hey?
Yes.
I mean, Deeper, that's unbelievable. On YouTube alone, it's 7.7 million views. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's if you look at the statistics when that, you realistically speaking, a minimum of 25% of the country, everybody like kind of heard your music. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
In terms of numbers for essay. I mean, it's a lot. So I must ask you, describe the day you made Deeper.
The day I made Deeper, I remember we'd booked a studio in Glenwood. And it was like a little bit of like a dodgy studio. Like I arrived in, and inside it wasn't so bad, but like on the outside it looked like really scary. And I was like, what am I doing here?
Cringe.
And I was going to work with Mindley, who'd produced some stuff for me before. And we went into the studio and there was other people working. I feel like I'm giving you like all the details.
No, that was the story. Yeah.
And we went in and eventually it was like our turn and I sat there, he played me the beat. I think he'd sent me the beat before and I had to listen to it before. And he played me the beat. And I'd written lyrics already, like, because often, like, if I have ideas, I put them in my notes on my phone or whatever. Even if I don't have a song for them, I'll just be like, oh, this is a cool idea or whatever. And I just, like, write down, like, notes. And then when I'm writing a song, sometimes I'll go back and look at those ideas and see if they fit with the song or the beat.
Right.
And I'd written this, like, idea down of, like, and I think I called it, like, deeper love. Like the more, and sometimes I just write like a concept. It's not, so I was like, the more you love someone and the more you keep it a secret, the more your love grows or something. They said something like that. And that's where the like inspiration started for Deeper. And then Deeper, Keep It In came in. And then we got to the chorus and Mondley came up with, at the beginning of the melody, he was like, eh, 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 eh. So it was just like, it was eh, 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 like going on and on. It wasn't the complete one that everyone knows.
It was like a loop kind of thing.
Yeah. And then I was like, what if we change the second one? We go eh, 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 like we go down. He was like, okay, cool. So we sang that melody and then we were like sitting there for like hours looking at each other like, what are we gonna say here? Like what words? Like, it's such a weird melody, like what? And we tried like weird things, trying to fit words in. And eventually he was like, you know what, just leave it. Just leave it. Like, don't sing any words. And then we'll just have eh, 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 eh as the chorus with like a few leads on top.
Right.
And and then the whole country was singing it like a few months later.
Jeez me.
Yeah.
Nah, Deeper.
Unbelievable, right? So how long did it take you to actually, do you make it in a day?
A day.
Oh, wow.
A day.
How long was that session?
Couple hours, maybe 4 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at that moment, when you all left that studio at the end of the day, did you know it was going to be...
Oh, no, I didn't like the song.
No way.
No, I'm being serious.
No way.
Yeah. My whole team had to convince me to release it.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah. Because, like I said it earlier, I think, like, Gom was so big that I just felt like, who is going to relate to this, like, slower tempo, super chill, kind of like love song? Like, who's gonna get it?
Everybody.
And literally, like, I had fights with them. They were like, this is the one. I was like, guys, come on. We need something more vibey.
Right.
And then I was like, you know what? I'm tired of fighting with you guys. I trust you. Just release it.
I mean, that was unbelievable because, I mean, when you listen to it today, it's still so fresh and
still
timeless.
bro.
You know, like it's unbelievable, you know.
It's something you can play literally every December and groove and be nice and just be chill.
I remember I said to him, like, I wanted a combination of, like, do you remember that song by, that Nigerian artist? It's like Manini or something like that.
Okay, I know Manini, but...
But she had that song with DJ 40.
Yeah, lost
It was
me
like
there.
really big. I can't think of the song, but that song and then like a Beatsenberg. That's what I wanted.
Right.
And that's, the sound that he created for Deeper.
Fantastic. Amazing, eh?
In like 4 hours, he created the beat and then you put down the vocal.
No, he'd already created the beat
yes, you
before we
listening to
came.
before,
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, obviously he worked on it after I'd laid down the vocals. 'Cause,
Yes.
you know,
I mean, you
wanna
still did
incorporate
changes to
it.
the beat and stuff.
Yes,
on the day.
afterwards.
Yes.
Like the song wasn't finished by the time we left the studio. We went back
Yes.
and forth for a while.
Yeah.
But the writing and the vocals and all of that was
was
finished.
done.
That's amazing, eh? Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Well, we know you've been in the music industry for quite a while, right? And, being in this industry, maneuvering through it, your entire musical journey, just in general, if there was anything you'd like to change in the South African music industry, what would it be and why?
It would be the empowerment of women in the South African music industry.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, there's no question about it.
Yeah.
I think...
You think it's oppressed right now?
Oh, for sure. You still have men who are expecting sexual favors in exchange for recording a woman. Like, we're still there.
Wow.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
No way.
100%. We're still there.
Just to make a song or something?
Yeah,
A
just to
beat?
get you in
Wow.
studio. And, the sad thing is, like, women think
Yeah.
that they have to do it. They think that they have to sell themselves in order to get, and you don't. And I wish that we could empower more women, and not just like the artists. Like, we need more female execs in the boardroom so that we have representation when the meetings are happening and the decisions are made about our careers. We need more female heads of departments and publishing and all of that. So like I said, when the decisions are being made, we have representation.
Right.
We don't even have an equal representation at the top level yet. All the major labels are owned by men. In Deeper for the last, just before COVID, my record label was the only female-owned record label in the top 20.
No way.
Yeah, for a while in the top 10.
That's crazy. Eh?
Yeah. And it's just like we're not empowering women enough to own their own stuff, to take control of their own careers, to access safe environments for them to create.
Music.
And it's not just producers, it's, it's photographers, it's videographers, it's, the whole industry and everything around music needs to change and diversify.
That's crazy because you're actually giving us an insight of what's going on. We just a small studio.
Yeah.
We don't know these kind of things. It's kind of happening. It's a bit sad that it's that
No, it is,
especially
yeah.
the whole sexual thing. I think that's a bit messed up. Because that's the same thing kind of happening in the States.
It's happening everywhere.
Yeah.
It's a universal problem.
Is it, eh?
But because of the sort of like very masculine, heterosexual kind of like society that South Africa is, it's
Right.
still really bad here.
Yo.
It's not even under the carpet. It's like,
Really.
yeah, it's not even like a thing.
Jeez. I mean, yeah, I've heard stories, of female artists, friends of mine
Yeah.
that I know of as well. They've told me stories about venturing into it, but I didn't think it was like extremely
I
this
don't
deep.
even go to the studio with someone new without a male to accompany me.
Really?
Yeah.
Eh?
If it's like my producers that I know,
Yes.
that's fine. But if I'm working with someone new, even if it's a woman and I know they're going to be men in the studio,
Right.
I always have someone like a male friend or my DJ or one of my producers to come with me. Yeah.
That's messed up that you have to
Safety.
Yeah, it's bad. And I mean, it's not something I talk about, but something I've experienced as well. So I don't want another woman to ever have to go through that or be in an uncomfortable situation.
Geez, that sucks that you experienced that. Eh?
Yeah, I don't think there's a woman who hasn't though in any environment. I don't think there's a woman who hasn't,
Especially in this industry.
especially who hasn't experienced some sort of like uncomfortable sort of
Request.
approach or
Right.
yeah.
That sucks because it should just be about business and creating, But clearly,
Other people are driven by other things.
Clearly, that's other people's intention, But I think music. I mean, do you really appreciate the music though, or you just?
After you do that,
I don't know. I don't know whether you're into
Right?
music.
I can't answer that.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like
Yeah.
it seems. But let's talk about just the biggest difference. Well, you've been part of a label. You also have been independent, and my question to you is that. What's the biggest difference about being signed in with a big, massive label versus being independent? And what difference did you find as an artist?
I think I always explain it like this. Being signed to a label is like working a 9 to 5.
Oh, is it? Eh?
You know that everything's gonna be sorted for you. You don't have to worry about your medical aid and your all of this.
okay.
You go to work. Not that record label sort out medical aid. I'm just using the comparison.
Oh, I see.
So you go to work, everything's done. The people who need to do their jobs do their jobs. You do your job. If you're in I don't know, if you're the accountant, you do the accountant job, you know that the advertising people will do the advertising.
Right.
You know, it's like that. Being an independent artist is like being an entrepreneur. You wake up every day, you hustle. If you don't, then the pressure's all on you. You don't earn. You're the accountant, you're the marketing agent, you're the director of the company, you're everything.
The PR,
you know? So I think and that doesn't mean, when I say that, it doesn't mean that people who are signed to labels are not business minded. In fact, they're some of the best, because it's a very good business and strategic decision to sign to a label.
Right.
If you are a top artist. Let me just clarify that. And there's pros and cons of both. Different artists are suited to different things. For me, I am very outspoken. I like my freedom. I like to make my own decisions. I don't like to have people who sit in an office all day telling me what is hot and hip and happening. And I also don't want a bunch of old white dudes sitting in the UK getting all my money.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
So, you know, they just put people of color as the face of, you know, the brand in the country that you're in, but it's the old dudes, like,
still
also
racking
sitting
up.
in a f***ing beach in Italy, like, earning your money. That just doesn't sit right with me. And also, you know, the biggest problem with me with record labels is they decide. They decide when you release. They decide when it's your time. They decide whether you're popping now or not. Yeah. Like you hear stories all the time about artists getting shelved because they're focusing on another artist who might be a competitor at the time.
Okay.
So, and it's not that I haven't been offered record deals. And I'm, like I said, I have been signed to a record label. But for me, I want to decide what I want to do when I want to do it. And also just have the freedom to work with who I want to work with and just do what I want to do.
You know, like you said, working for a record label is your like 9 to 5 kind of thing, you know. But do you think that affects the music though? Like when you've been dictated and like you're getting all this money and like, you know, does it affect the actual creation?
For sure. Also, like, I don't think any artist works well under deadlines. And with a lot of, like, in a record deal, you have like hectic deadlines. So like you have to produce 5 albums in this amount of time. And sometimes artists just go through dry spells. It's normal. They're not like feeling like making music at the time or, you know, they want to experiment with something else. And if you have a contractual obligation to deliver something, you can't be like, hey, I'm depressed right now or I'm not inspired right now. You can't. And I mean, you do get, like, labels are like understanding to a certain extent. And I mean, it depends on who you're with and the relationship you have with your A&R. But it can be very difficult for artists, I think, especially when you're required to make music. It's not like, hey, I want to jump in the studio and just work. And it also doesn't mean that independents don't have deadlines. I mean, I have publishing agreements, independent publishing agreements, and a distributor and all of that I've facilitated under my label. And I have deadlines I have to meet for them. But they're a lot more understanding because they don't have as much of an investment, if you know what I mean.
No, I hear what you're saying.
And they don't have a contractual, they legally can't force me to.
To do what
you know what I mean? Yeah. So I love being independent. I've been independent So I signed the biggest record deal of my career when I was 16. And I got out of it when I was in matric. No, I'm telling you lies. When I was 17, I signed it, and I got out of it the year after my matric.
Okay.
And I got a full scholarship to UCT to study, and the record label made me turn it down.
Oh no!
Because they felt that if I was in Cape Town, they wouldn't recoup their money if I was too far. And they ended up shelving me for another artist. So from that moment, I knew that I'll never be with another label ever again.
Oh, that's not nice.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, do you have to use their studios? Do you have to?
The thing is, you don't have to pay for their studios.
Yeah.
So, you know, but because you record in their studios, they own the masters, and they also own the masters because they're paying for the production of it. Also, what artists don't understand about record deals, and it's in advances in particular, is that it's not because they like you that they're giving you that money. That's a loan. They're recouping that. you're actually better off going to the bank and getting a loan from the bank and investing in yourself, because once you've paid back that loan from the bank, you're done with the bank.
Right.
With a record label, even when you pay back the money,
There's interest occurred.
not interest, they still own the masters.
Yeah.
So you then have to buy your masters back on top of paying them back and all the money they've earned off of you. So if I give you, I don't know, let's say R1 million advance. You then are in debt to me, so you have to work off that R1 million. And then anything after that you make, I'm still earning off of it. And then I still own your masters. So now say one day you decide you want your masters, you now have to buy them back from me.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And the crazy thing about record labels is when I was getting out of that deal that I was talking about, the coffee that they ordered in the meetings where they were talking about me, I wasn't in the meeting, in the planning sessions were charged to my account.
Oh, no way.
Wow.
I remember there was something for like Nando's. They ordered Nando's for the office. And on that day, they had a meeting in the morning about my marketing. And I wasn't in the meeting, I was in Durban. And that Nando's was even charged
That is insane.
to my account. On top of like studio and all that stuff. So every time you go to studio, you don't pay, but they use that as a cost. So say it's like, I don't know, 2,000 rands you rent the studio for the evening.
Sure.
You're not paying that because you're the artist and you think, wow, I get the studio for free. That 2,000 rand for them is part of your day.
Sure.
And I mean, different record labels have different like structures and the way that they work. Not everyone is exactly like that. But yeah, we forget as artists that it's not just money for fun. It's they're giving you a loan that you now have to pay back. It's like, imagine you get a loan from the bank to buy a house. You pay the bank back all the money, but they still own the house.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
That's
You know what I
that
mean?
seems like a bad financial decision.
You know, right? Like it doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
So yeah, for me,
That is so hectic.
Yeah.
I can't believe, I know it used to be, but Holly, once again, we're very wet behind the ears.
Yeah.
We just in the ownership game at the moment, and that's all. It's interesting that you're saying this because I know this was big in, like, once again, I keep on pointing to the US because I know how many people got screwed there. But do you think, like, in South Africa, it's still happening today?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh for sure.
Oh, really? Eh?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the whole. I don't want to say like names of people because I'm like
100%,
scared of
yeah.
certain like things.
Right.
But there's a label that we all know that gave their artists cars and bought their artists houses.
We know what you're talking about.
And the artists all felt like, wow, like, and then they took it all away. So it's definitely still happening. Artists are still being exploited. But what I always say is like, information and knowledge prevents exploitation.
100%.
So realistically, I can't walk into a room, you put a contract in front of me, I sign it, and then you steal all my money and I'm like,
What
why?
happened?
You didn't read the contract.
Yes.
You didn't take time to understand the industry. You didn't take time to understand your revenue sources. None of that. So actually, that person shouldn't have done that. It's wrong. But you also should have invested in yourself by acquiring the knowledge. So although I feel bad for artists to get exploited, but I also think they need to take accountability for their own careers and responsibility.
Sure.
And you don't need to be like the smartest person and the most intelligent, but just take an interest in your own career by reading a little bit and getting to know a little bit. It'll save you so much in the long run.
Yeah, no.
That's amazing.
I know, that's good gems.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
Good
talk
gems for
so
the
No,
much.
it's good.
that's a good thing.
We sitting here with our eyes all open, mouth dropped here, because this is so interesting to us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
everyone
good.
who sits in that chair, you're there to give your opinion,
Yeah.
and we want people to hear it,
Yeah.
and that's a lot. But okay, well, one thing we know is that you're multilingual, right? Well, I would say that you dabble.
I dabble.
You dabble,
Being
right?
from KZN, I feel like everyone from KZN speaks a little bit of Zulu.
Right.
And then being in that industry, I've been learning
Yes.
more and
Yeah. Well, I mean, with you, learning about that and, being one of the very few white women in the industry going into Amapiano in that type of space and all that, I wanted to ask, what is your advice for, young women of your ethnicity as well, who love, the South African sound and want to venture into music and making music like that. And especially since majority of the population here, is majority Black and stuff, and multilingual, vernacular language definitely, speaks to majority of them. So what was the advice you'd like to give maybe, somebody who is in your shoes or who wants to be in that type of space?
Authenticity is so important, especially when you're going cross-culturally.
I see.
So, I see a lot of like young white girls coming into the industry, and it's so cringe because it's not who they are. You know what I mean? It's not, you need to be so authentic to like, okay, yeah, maybe you're like interested in sort of that South African or we refer to as a main market culture, which is, Black culture.
100%.
Maybe you're interested in main market culture and whatever, but don't don't try and be something that you are not. Be who you are. I will never go to like earlier I said, I won't go make amapiano music.
Yeah.
Because I'll feature on tracks because it's cool to like collaborate and feature. But if I was to make an amapiano album, it would be so inauthentic to who I am that I would, first of all, wouldn't do the genre justice. It would be an insult to the genre and an insult to the people who actually truly love and make amapiano and are into amapiano. I love amapiano. I love listening to it. I can literally dance all night to amapiano. But I love making house music and pop and that, and that's what I'm passionate about. Even when it comes to like stage and dancing and everything, I'm not trying to like do everything that everyone's doing. I do what I feel is right. I choreograph all my dances and my stage performances and everything with what I feel is who I am and an expression of like what I want my songs to look like on stage. I think it's really dangerous when people try to assimilate a culture that they don't understand. Make an effort. If you love, like when I started making house music, I didn't go to like the fancy studios and bring the producers there. I went to Umlazi, to KwaMashu, to where the genre was coming from, to work with those artists. And that's the biggest mistake people make when they cross genres or cross sort of like cultures and stuff. It becomes disrespectful because it's not authentic. It's not who you are. So yeah, I think for me, that's about, if you look at someone like Tamari Day was so part of the culture at the time. That's why people loved her.
Yes.
For me, I was like hanging out with Professor. I was part of the, the house culture at the time. I was hanging out with all the artists. I was going to Iadini. I was going to Max's. It was who I am. It's when you try and be something that you're not that the problem starts. I
see. Okay, so be authentic.
Be authentic, yeah.
Oh, cool, man. But so, like, what advice do you have for, that young girl out there that's trying to get noticed? What is the key to getting noticed and noticed independently, noticed by label, noticed because I mean, like, you obviously want to attract attention on you, and get the ball rolling. What does it take to get noticed out there?
I think that authenticity. I think that knowledge will always take you far. It's something you will always have, something that you can go with everywhere you go in life, learn about the industry and understand the industry so that it's not easy for you to be exploited by the industry. Because the music industry, any entertainment industry is so tough, it's rough, it's brutal. The third thing is love it. Do not start making music because you want to be famous or because it'll eat you up and spit you out if that's what you want. You have to really love it because it's really hard. It's toxic, it's good, it's bad, it's a roller coaster. And if you don't love what you're doing, you burn out really quickly. And then the fourth thing that I wanted to say is you never have to compromise yourself to achieve what you want in anything that you do in life. Music, whether you want to be a lawyer, whatever, if you have to compromise yourself and your integrity and what you believe in to achieve something, it's not worth it. you will regret it later down the line. There's always other ways and more means, and we feel like, oh, there's certain gatekeepers we must. There's so many gates in the garden. Do you know what I mean? You don't always have to. If there's something that's gonna make you feel like this is not who I am, it's not what I want, find another path to follow. You don't have to go down that road. Yeah.
That's so cool. There's so many gates in the garden.
Yeah.
That is so dope. I'm a visual guy. I'm thinking of this magical garden, multiple gates. Yeah, that's such a cool expression. I never heard that one before. But that's very, very cool. But you can see, we sit with a writer. Right?
I see.
Right, playing with words. But no, Holly Rey, from us, we definitely loved having you here.
Oh, thank you. It's been fun. I like talking, so this has been good for me.
Yeah, no, it's a good podcast. I'm happy that you're here. And, just for your fans out there, anybody that you want to know, that's your camera right there. What do you think, or what would you like to say is in store for Holly Rey in the future?
So much music. I'm in studio at the moment working on a project. I'm really excited about it. So a lot of music. My show with my little sister's coming out in April on SABC 3.
That's so dope.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on another broadcast platform, but yeah. And we're starting shooting season 2. And I'm just doing a lot of stuff that I love, a lot of passion projects. And I think people will be able to hear that or see that or experience that when they get to interact with these different things that I'm working on.
Can you tell us about your show? Is it,
I can. It's out
tell
there.
Us about your show.
It's a baking show with my sister Mimi. We started baking for fun during lockdown, and she's so funny that I started filming it, like doing the bakes and everything, and people just loved it. And then we then were like, okay, cool, let's shoot it as a YouTube series, so that it's a little bit better, because I was shooting it on my phone, I was editing it myself, everything. We're like, let's shoot it as a YouTube series, and we got sponsors on board. It's sponsored by Woolies and DeFi.
Fantastic.
And we shot it, and then we got approached by SABC. They were like, no, this is perfect for us. You just need to make them 27 minutes long. So we extended them a bit. We shot a little bit more content. We did something called Mimi's Corner, where Mimi takes where Mimi takes control, and she does fun kid stuff. And it's really just aimed at educating kids about the importance of, cooking your food and where your food comes from, and, eating healthy things, and also tips and tricks for parents to hide healthy things in the food, get them to eat vegetables without them knowing. And me and my sister have such a nice relationship that I think it's so fun, and anyone will enjoy it.
Yeah. So it's called Cooking with
Baking with the Reys.
Baking. Okay. So that's so dope. Baking with the Reys. So when does that come out, no?
It comes out on the 8th of April on SABC 3.
Guys, go and check it out. 8th of April. All right.
That's when it drops.
Yeah, we'll obviously put it out there as well, when it does get there. But man, we're very excited. Well, firstly, this has been such an informative conversation.
I hope so.
No, it really was, and it's really pointers for us on how to move and how to do things and stuff. I mean, like I said, you got the T-shirt, and we just getting into it slowly. But Holly, honestly, from Kong, thank you very much for coming through. It's been an absolute blast having you here. Your family now, hey? So you just pull through, make some music when you want to. You know where we at, and man, don't feel shy.
I don't live far, so maybe I'll become irritating.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
You bring your professor here. Make some crazy hits.
And like I said, it's a pity you never meet my wife, but I'm sure she'll meet you very soon.
Yeah, I'm sure. Let's do a dinner or something.
No, we'll definitely do so. But ma'am, from our side, we can't thank you so much. Really, it means so much for you to come through. And what we can offer you is photo shoot at the value of $6,000. You come do it whenever you want to come and do it, and that's at least what we can do for you.
No, you know what? I don't even need anything in exchange, because I'm so spreading knowledge and chatting and just, it's such a part of who I am. I said earlier, my biggest thing is leaving the doors open, spreading knowledge, because the industry is so gatekeepers and we don't talk about things and we don't spread information. So things like this are really important for me and what I believe in as an artist and as a woman in the industry. So I feel grateful to be able to come here.
Oh, no, cool, man. Thank you. But I insist you have to take something from us, you know? It's like going to somebody's house and taking
I'll be
food.
back. I'll be back.
You have to come, man. You have to come. So thank you very much, madam. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yes.
And yeah, man, you must have a lovely one. And,
Lovely one, definitely. You think you're signing it off already?
No, not at all, not at all.
No, guys.
Thanks for being real.
Yeah. Right. Thanks for being real. Well, definitely Holly Rey was real in the building, guys, and we definitely enjoyed having you here. Thank you for coming. And yeah, from everybody here in the studio to all our conquerors out there, we would like to say safe. Till the next time, guys.
Kong Republic I like. Speaking your truth on the mic. Hit the subscribe and like. Time to
Kongcast.